observation. We are running commerce-based programs where we have inculcated various skills. All our programs have practicals and on-job training where we are giving them real-time experience. My only takeaway or observation is that if we really want to be relevant in the education sector, we have to do away with mundane subjects which are not relevant today to make space for new subjects, for the new areas of scaling.
Name the mundane subjects.
I'm not from a commerce background, but
one learning from yesterday. Anyone? Yes. Be brief, sir. Thank you.
Syed Azamuddin, Professor and Head Department of Commerce, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, Marathwada University, Aurangabad, Maharashtra.
Welcome.
What I got is we have to be ready cognitively. Then experiential learning with computational is inevitable. So that is what we are taking back, and we hope to implement with the help of ICAI or our chapter.
In developing the educational systems in India, you should be a partner in that. And that was really a very good gesture and very good idea. And so ICAI thought about being a part of the team for the entire education system of India. And what happens today when we talk about education? Universities imparting the academic education. At the same time, now there are various industries coming up with their own modules, and we have professional courses. So it is very much essential that somebody might be a very good, pianist, and somebody might be a very good guitarist. But there has to be a coordination today. It's very, very important today. In isolation, we cannot work probably. The industries cannot work in isolation without the university support. They will not get a benefit. Similarly, universities and professional courses all have to work together. That was a particular concept. So,
whereas now time has come, and when I was looking at NEP, New Education Policy 2020, the entire focus is on skill development. Not that in the past, in the old syllabus, skills were not being developed, but perhaps the focus was more on theory. And skill development used to happen after the learning in university or in institutes was over. Time has come when we are talking about education which is right from beginning skill based, and this will involve each one of us and we will lead to thorough transformation. Government
which is flourishing with a lot of education, or even a basic education to an extent where he completes his graduation and says that my employability is assured. How do you feel? Just visualize for a moment with your open eyes. I will not even tell you to close your eyes. Just with the open eyes, just visualize what kind of feeling we are going to get. And that is a feeling with which we ensure that this exemplar has to come to the society at a larger level. We have always been forward looking at the institute in a big way, not a smaller thing. But let me just tell you, when you talk about the double entry accounting system, whether it is railways, whether it is government accounting, whether it is ESG, whether it is forensic standards, when you talk about adoption of global best practices in the accounting world, my output is later, but my input is to be taught effective. And my input is no other person than the same student who is completing his 11th standard, 12th standard graduation, who is actually getting me as an input, and those are the people we are grooming. We are grooming from wherever we are getting that. But the point is, if that grooming to a greater extent is transformed to the teachers or the universities and colleges, it will make a whole lot of difference, because the employability of these people is going to go high in 2 cents. See, exemplar is what? It's actually a standard syllabus. I have a presentation, but what I make presentation, you all are more. The thing which I would like to say finally, I learned this entire practice wherever I've grown with one concept. which I'll share with you. If you think you can.
The foundation, the intermediate and the final. The learning requirements are the foundation we say is the basic level, at the intermediate we say is the working level of knowledge that is tested, and at the final level it is an expert level of knowledge that the students are supposed to know or are supposed to acquire. And we have 20 papers spread over these 3 levels, 4 at the foundation level. We have 8 presently at the intermediate level, split into 2 groups of 4 papers each, and 8 at the final level, again 2 groups of 4 papers each. Considering the requirement, like I mentioned, the technology, the student, we have exams every May and November. I appreciate all of you would be knowing, because there will be a lot of students from your universities who would be CA students. And so the thought was that there was a lot of pressure on the students, and we all know nowadays the students, to be very honest, I see my son, they don't have that much of patience that we used to have. And I hope everybody would agree on that, and therefore they won't change, we have to change based on their requirement. And similar thing was also when we were forming the syllabus. So what we have brought about is that between intermediate and final level, to ease the burden of the examination on the students, the ICAI has proposed to bring in a new level, that is self-paced learning modules. So what are these self-paced learning modules? So there are 4 sets of papers in that, or else
teacher, books, teacher, paper setting, teacher, examination, teacher, timetable, teacher. There is hardly any role of a student. So student, I thought, become the voiceless. Nobody listens to them. What are their aspirations? As they were just told about the experience of our daughter. Exactly this is the position of our students. Sometimes we impose certain things to them, and sometimes the parents, relatives, so and so on. So once I become the principal, I invite all my students and ask them to write one write-up, SRCC of my kids. Believe me, they given me the agenda to run SRCC as per their aspirations. And I try to mobilize entire resources, all these resources at my command, and not even my command, I try to mobilize resources to fulfill their dreams.
Demonstrate whether our ancient wisdom has something to offer in the contemporary society. In other words, what should be the position of mythology and traditions in the knowledge system? My paper will be divided into 3 parts. First, I'm going to talk about mythology. What is mythology? Do I have? My first part of the paper will be dealing with what is mythology. In the second part, I'll be talking about how mythology in other traditions have been used as a tool for knowledge building. And in the third part, I'll be coming back to our own tradition to talk about what we can take from mythology as a value-added course, as a skill enhancement course. That's one of the parameters that NEP gives for the educators. Now let me start with the Webster Dictionary. Mythology, if you look at it, it says, number 1, it's usually a traditional story of ostensibly historical events that serves to explain natural phenomenon, beliefs, or a worldview of people. The second definition says it's a popular, or it may be a narrative of real incidents.
His or her mind. And Sloka 6.6 says, the person who has controlled the mind has won the world. And the person who has not been able to control the mind do not need an enemy. The mind itself will be the enemy of that person. And if we see the whole Bhagavad Gita, I see that all teaching to Arjuna is on mind of Arjuna. So when God made us, He gave us 78 vital organs, and which are hardware, heart, kidney, liver. So He gave a brain, which is our hardware. Like mobile is a hardware. But He gave us unlimited applications, which is mind. And when I correlate mythology, Bindu Das madam, all inventions which have taken place are from mythology.
Let's also look at proving Ravan, and then it dates back to 7,000 years. So if we have to get the evidence, can we go back and get the evidence that existed thousands of years back? So, yes.
And by and large, all universities are having course curriculum on commerce education, that's it. But what we are teaching and what is the need of the hour, is there a gap? And if there is a gap, how we can bridge that gap? Each university, I believe, each institute has got its own expertise, but may not be having that expertise which is in the other area which others may be having. And Institute of Chartered Accountant, though officially came into existence in 1949, but I believe the seeds were sown in 1934 when some first act was passed. So now
a student going for the practical aspects, say as a part of their a journey towards becoming a graduate or postgraduate. So these are the things where we can really explore to integrate the two.
Deliberations on it, and it's a wonderful part to understand how the education system will align with NEP, and then how it will be imparted to you. And your forum is today about the National Education Summit on Commerce and Accountancy, which is organized by the Institute, and it has a vision and mission to become world-leading accounting body with cutting edge in research and development. So, this has a stand and this has a motto of accountancy and commerce as a subject and as leaders in that. And here in India, we know that this is an integral part into any ecosystem or any education sector. It has an objective to standardize the commerce and accountancy education by content development, online.
And now here the institute can come up to focus upon certain specific courses rather than talk about the program. Of course, in our country, we are accustomed to look at a program only. 18 courses, 20 courses, 24 courses. And if a student clears 23 courses out of 24 and could not clear the last one, we all feel happy and elevated that the percentage of pass is very, very low. But that should not be the spirit of education. And that is why the course-based learning, the course-based evaluation, and the course-based focus has come up. Then later on, this national education policy, it has talked about it. How? Again, I will talk about it because it is basically 25% of the contents. We are going to add skill components, and 75% they are related to the basic language. We are experimenting with 4 undergraduate courses, BCom also. 25% skill component. And the skills, they are mapped with the National Skill Development Corporation and also the National Council for Vocational Education Training. Gone are the days when only the pure language course or the pure
The Constitution was not adopted. You are all well aware that the Constitution of this great country was promulgated on 26 January 1950. The pertinent question that arises is, what prompted the Constituent Assembly to set up an area when their own democratic setup was not in place? The answer is very candid, very simple, very forthcoming. They were looking for a disciplined band of financial soldiers to steer this country out of confusion. Ladies and gentlemen,